In continuation of our chapter power sharing, today we are going to discuss remaining topics: accommodation in Belgium, why power sharing is desirable, and different forms of power sharing. Let's start with accommodation in Belgium or Belgium model. How the government of Belgium resolved the problem between two major communities, French and Dutch. In one word, we can say that Belgium solved this problem by implementing the features of power sharing. In single line, they gave importance to this feature, power sharing. For this, government amended its constitution 4 times, and they practiced different provisions under Belgium model. Here you can see what kind of provisions they adopted. We will read these. Number 1, ministers shall be equal in the central government. Equal distribution in political structure. In central government, ministers will be equal. There will be equal percentage from French and from Dutch speakers. So there will be no dispute, there will be no controversy. And the next one, now onwards, state government will not be a subordinate to the central government. State government will be free. There will be no pressure of central government. Clear? Third provision is both the communities have equal representation in capital city also. In Brussels there were 80% French speakers and 20% Dutch speakers. The same thing they applied there, equal representation in capital city. Fourth one is Belgium government introduced a third kind of government, and it is called community government, which will only see the issues related to culture, related to education, related to language. So a different kind of government had been set up by the Belgium, and it is called third kind of government there. Mainly there were two levels of the government, central and state, but it is very different. So we can say that Belgium had three levels of the government, three forms of the government: central, state and community government. This is entirely about Belgium model, and this model had been practiced by the government to solve the problem there. So in this way, Belgium solved the problem between two communities. So now we can understand that power sharing is very essential feature for each and every democratic country. Next topic is, why do we need power sharing? Power sharing is very desirable thing, very important feature of democracy. But why do we need? If it is not there, we have already discussed that power sharing is not there, then what would happen? We have already studied the case of Sri Lanka, the case of Belgium. So ultimately, both the nations adopted this concept. So, what are the reasons behind power sharing? There are two reasons behind the importance of power sharing. Number one, prudential reason, and number two is moral reason. In prudential reason, you may see 2 points. Power sharing helps to reduce the possibility of conflict between social groups. This we already understood by reading the case of Belgium. So point is very clear. It reduces conflicts and controversies. Number two, it also ensures the stability of the government. If power sharing is not there, we cannot see stable government. Political parties will fight with each other. So we are seeing stable government in many of the nation because of this feature. So by reading these 2 points, these are prudential reason, we can understand the importance of power sharing. Another moral reason, it is the spirit of democracy. If it is there, if power sharing is there, we can say it is the good spirit of democracy, means our democracy will run very smoothly. So for the smooth functioning of the government, for the smooth functioning of democracy, we need this concept, power sharing. So these are the reasons of power sharing. Why do we need power sharing? This is also a very important topic. Sometimes we see question in examination of 3 marks. Now turns to last topic of this chapter, forms of power sharing. There are different forms of power sharing we see in the system. In slide there are 4 forms. Number 1, power is shared among different organs of the government. This topic you have already studied in class 8. There are 3 organs of the government, you all know, but I am going to repeat different organs of the government. Number 1, legislature. Number 2, executive. Number 3, judiciary. Power is shared among different organs. Means each and every organ is free to take decision. There is no interference of any political body or any institution. Means decision making process is completely free. Legislature, our representatives, executive body means our bureaucrats, and ultimately judicial system. So they all are free. Powers are shared among these 3 things. So this is the first form of power sharing. Number 2, power can be shared among different level of the government. This level of the government you studied in class 7. In Indian context, there are 3 level of the government: central or union level, state level, and local level. According to the constitution, each and every level is free to govern. to administer their areas. Central level will take decision at center point. In Indian context, there is a capital, then Delhi, where central representatives will take decision, and the government, chief minister and his cabinet is there to take decision about the entire state. And the local body government, you may see municipal corporation and panchayat, where sarpanch and mayors are taking decision. So we can say powers are shared among different level of the government. So this is the second form of power sharing. Third one, powers are also shared among different social groups. Some powers have been given to specific social groups, especially which are backward, which are not in the mainstream of the society. So in this way, some democratic governments divides power. So this is the third form of power sharing. And the fourth one and last one is powers are also shared. It also can be seen in the way of political parties, in the way of pressure groups, movements. Sometimes we see government, not a one-sided government, two or more than two parties join to make or form the government at any level. It may be at central level, it may be at the level of a state. So if two or more than two parties are going to join, this type of government is called coalition form of government. So in that case we see powers, division of powers, sharing of powers. So this is another kind of power sharing. So in this way we understood that power sharing is very important for democracy. This was the last topic of this chapter, forms of power sharing. Now the chapter is over. Thank you. Have a nice day.